So, what if I told you that one of the most successful, most influential men in all of modern history started out his life with absolutely nothing? And I mean literally zero money to his name. Zero connections either. We're talking about a guy born in a tiny one-room log cabin in the absolute middle of nowhere, just completely isolated from the broader world. And to make matters even tougher, he effectively had no supportive father figure to guide him during those really crucial early years. When you stack up that sheer weight of massive disadvantages, no money, no network, no solid guidance, it paints a picture of someone society would just expect to be totally forgotten by history, right? But instead, these massive hurdles actually became the pressure cooker that birthed a literal global phenomenon. Just look at the numbers, because the scale of his future success is honestly staggering. 100 million. His landmark books have sold well over 100 million copies worldwide. His revolutionary ideas have quite literally created billionaires across multiple generations. And today, his name is known in every single corner of the globe. Welcome to part one of this explainer. Today, we are uncovering the true, just completely unbelievable story of Napoleon Hill, the boy who had nothing. Section 1. The Boy with Nothing. Okay, so set the scene. It's October 26th, 1883. Deep in the rugged Appalachian Mountains of Wise County, Virginia, a baby boy is born into a family so deeply impoverished, they don't even own a simple clock to tell the time. He was named Napoleon Hill, after the French emperor. Kind of ironic, isn't it? Because he wouldn't grow up to conquer nations with a physical army, but with ideas. His father was a part-time dentist and a farmer, and his mother, well, she was the absolute light of the house. But then, tragedy hits. At just 9 years old, his mother dies. Suddenly and completely unexpectedly. In an instant, his entire family is just completely shattered. Section 2. Tragedy and Rebellion. Following his mother's sudden passing, his father remarried very quickly to a young widow named Martha. And young Napoleon, he just felt entirely lost. He felt displaced. And the anger completely took over. By age 13, he wasn't a sweet, innocent little boy anymore. He was this lost, gun-toting youth, lashing out at the unfair world around him, literally carrying a gun. His neighbors looked at this armed, rebellious teenager and fully expected him to end up in jail. And it gets even darker. His own father would occasionally look at him and actually label him worthless. Which, wow. When everyone around you, including your own blood, writes you off as a lost cause, it's almost impossible for a kid to see a way out. Section 3. The Power of Words. But then, a local judge, yes, a judge of all people, managed to look past the gun and the bad attitude, and he actually saw some hidden, untapped potential in this rebellious kid. The judge gave 13-year-old Napoleon a job writing for a small-town newspaper called the Mountain Republican. Now, at first, his job was super simple, just running around collecting the local news. But soon enough, he started writing his own little articles. And for the very first time in his difficult, poverty-stricken life, young Napoleon felt truly alive. He finally had a purpose. The pen is mightier than the sword. He suddenly realized he didn't need to carry a gun to be powerful or to be heard. Writing was his new magic weapon. He discovered that he could actually touch people's hearts and minds just by arranging words on paper. This was the first absolutely critical spark that changed his entire trajectory. Section 4. The Ultimate Question. With this brand new perspective as a writer, he started really observing the deep inequalities all around him. He saw these stark extremes every single day. On one side, some people in his wider community lived in big, beautiful houses and wore really fancy clothes. And on the other side, people just like him were desperately struggling to get a single piece of bread on the table. The extremes of wealth and poverty were just right in front of his face, demanding an explanation. And this massive contrast forced him to pose a central, life-defining question. Why are some people rich and others poor? He knew deep down in his gut that the answer wasn't just about simple luck. And he knew it wasn't even just about hard work either. Because, let's be real, he saw plenty of poor people working themselves to the bone every single day. So he began relentlessly searching for the secret formula. He firmly believed there had to be a repeatable formula for success, even if he had no clue what it was yet. And asking this exact burning question over and over again would eventually, years later, lead him directly to the door of the richest man on planet Earth. Section 5. The Journey Ahead. But before finding that ultimate answer, this little boy first had to survive his harsh environment, fail multiple times, and dared to dream way bigger than his one-room log cabin ever allowed. And that perfectly sets up part 2 of our explainer, the Andrew Carnegie interview. You absolutely will not want to miss how Napoleon secures the opportunity of a lifetime, actually sitting down with the wealthiest man in history. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss this life-changing interview. Now, before we wrap up today, I want to ask you directly, have you ever felt like you were born with nothing? Write yes in the comments below. It is so easy to look at our starting line, look at the disadvantages, and just feel completely defeated. But I really want you to connect your own struggles to Napoleon's unbelievable underdog story. As we close out this explainer, I want to leave you with this defining reminder from his future landmark book, Think and Grow Rich. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill's early life is the ultimate proof that your starting point does not dictate your finish line. So ask yourself, if a boy born into absolutely nothing can change the world with a single pen, what could you achieve with the resources you have today? Thank you so much for watching,